top producers today who started 10 or 15 years ago would probably have a very hard time making it in 2024. We are currently witnessing the biggest shift in music production history, and the downfall has already begun. Making music is one of the most beautiful things in the world. We get to create things that make people happy. We build songs that make people want to dance and jump and sing. Quite literally, the creations that you make can bring joy to someone's life. That's the job of a music producer, or at least that's what it used to be. My name is Justin. I run a music production school called Cosmic Academy. We've worked with over 800 producers in the last 12 years. I also speak at top universities on music. I've spoken at Harvard, NYU, Vanderbilt. Recently, I was giving a talk, and I got this very interesting question. A student raised their hand and simply said, "What is the job of a music producer? Do they just make music?" I looked at that student and I said, well, they used to. They used to just make music. 3 things have changed that now, and the downfall has begun. Let's start with the first thing. I began my music career almost 20 years ago. I used to book artists, and then I built a very successful concert company. And over around 20 years, I watched things change in front of my eyes. Originally, when I used to book an artist or a DJ, the first question I would ask, is this artist any good? Are they a skilled performer, a skilled DJ? Do they have good music? Are they a great band? Sometimes there were segments of the audience that didn't know the act so well. Now, I remember booking DJ AM or booking Funkmaster Flex. These are some of the greatest historic DJs ever. And there were portions of the audience that didn't know much about them, but they trusted the bookings at the venue and they got tickets and they were blown away. A lot of times, artists would also be booked because of the music they made. I booked Axwell multiple times during the height of Swedish House Mafia. People loved his music. They didn't know him from Instagram. I don't even think he had an Instagram at the time. I booked Zedd early on, and people loved him because of maybe they like Clarity or Spectrum or some of those early great records. And when I really think about it, I don't think a lot of the audience even knew what he looked like before he came out. But at some point, things started to change. For me, I'll never forget the moment that it happened. I used to get pitched artists and DJs to book all the time. Managers and agents, they would send me their information on the artist, music that the artist has made, mini mixes of their sets, EPKs. But around 2013, I had a manager hit me up very differently about their artist. This particular manager didn't send me any of the material. No music, no mini mixes, no EPK about their background. I said, where's this artist's music? Where are their originals? Where's their tracks? The manager said to me, oh, this artist doesn't have any of that, but they love him on social media. And that's when I knew everything was changing. This is the first reason for the downfall of the music producer. The audience discovery is different. There are countless studies and research and articles that confirm this data. For most of you that are watching this, you probably used to discover your artist, your favorite artist on the radio. Or maybe depending on your age, you learned about your favorite artist on television, on MTV, on VH1. But today, and for the last few years, the new generation discovers music on social media. TikTok and Instagram rank higher than the radio for people to discover music. So you can't just be a good producer anymore. You need to be good at the social media as well. That's where the audience is going to find you today. And sure, your friends might be different and you might be different, but this is the data. And I see this when I speak at different colleges. You talk to 18 to 23-year-olds, and the artists that they're naming to you that they know and love, they found on TikTok. They found a song on Instagram, and that's how they learned about it. So the audience discovery is different. And there's a lot in this. Think about it. When I was growing up, a radio station had a programmer and they would decide what to play. And this person, who hopefully had good taste in music, would choose what songs we heard on the radio. Now, that's gone. Now, an algorithm decides what you hear. And that algorithm is a social media. And that social media is bound by the artist's marketing abilities. Having a great song isn't enough unless there's great marketing behind it. Sure, big artists that have huge followings already, they've been around 10, 20 years, they don't have to worry about it as much. But when you're just starting out, you have to go where this new audience is. And that audience discovers you on social. But it's not just being good at the music and the marketing. There's more. Here's reason number 2 for the downfall of the producer. You are no longer a music producer. You are also a business. And you need to be good at everything else. Record labels used to sign different types of deals with the artists. Labels used to sign what was called a 360 deal, and they would act as your manager and your agent and your PR and your marketing. Now, labels rarely do those deals, and you're left to do all of that on your own. So the modern producer and the future producer isn't just good at making music. They also need to be good at the marketing and the business and the PR and the networking and the deals and all of these other things. I even look at our program, Cosmic Academy. When we started 12 years ago, I just taught a 1-hour piece of one class on that side. For 1 hour on one night, I would talk a little bit about Facebook fan pages, and that was it. Now, today, it's 50% of the curriculum. Social media, pitching labels, Spotify, networking, getting your own gigs, all that stuff. Because sadly, you need to be more than just someone who makes music. Now, we have successfully taught hundreds of producers to do those things. So if you do need help and you want to learn more, apply to our program. I'll leave a link below in the comments. That brings me to the next cause of this downfall. Number 3, anyone and everyone can be a music producer. And this is a good thing, but also a bad thing. When most serious producers are starting out, it used to be this mysterious jungle. It's hard to find the right tools, the right software, the right plugins, the right information, the right teachings. Now, there's too much of that stuff. You go on YouTube to find an answer about compression, and there's 100,000 kids making videos on it that may or may not be telling you the right answer. There's also endless amounts of competition now, and that's not always a good thing. Typically, competition will make everyone better. Look at sports. As players get better and there's more competition, new records keep getting broken. Everyone has to push to level up. Now, you hear this with like basketball. They're like, oh, players today they'd be better than the players back then, and players back then could never play today. Like, that's maybe true. But in a strange way, music is not like that. Because of so much new technology in music, it's very easy for it to get dumbed down, not elevated. Anyone at this point can crack a DAW, download a construction kit or an Ableton kit, tweak some sounds, and then boom, they're pitching the same labels and the same playlists as you. But you're doing it seriously and they're just messing around. I mentioned before that I booked Funkmaster Flex, and way back then he showed up with crates and the vinyl. He was tracking the BPM with his watch. Now, it's much easier to DJ. Almost anyone can be a DJ. And yes, that's a good thing, but also a bad thing. Those of you that are taking this really seriously, that are doing this for the passion and the love and trying to make this a career, sadly, you're being watered down by whatever new Instagram model decided to become a music producer and DJ yesterday. And they're competing for the same labels and the same stages as you. And yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell who's professional, who's the real deal. We live in a world of auto-tune and auto-sync and AI, and it is great for some things. I used AI to make some of the images in this video, but it's also scary for other things. There might be people getting gigs and shows and signings based on music they really didn't make. So what should we do? First, we all need to realize that change is inevitable. The old days when your favorite producer started, those days are over. You can't sit here and try to follow Skrillex's footsteps. That might not work today. We need to evolve, but at the same time, be true to ourselves. We're here because we love music, and you need to stay in love with the process, not just the destination. If your whole goal is to just play that festival or get on that label, there might be someone who uses some AI and some tricks, and they get there first. But if you're really here for just the music, then that's okay. Because if you love the journey and you love the process, then no matter what happens with these downfalls, your love will radiate. It'll radiate from your music, it'll radiate from your brand. And the fans and the ARs and the talent buyers, they can feel that. Sure, there's some gimmicks and some new technology things, and those folks are gonna break through sometimes. But true art will always prevail and be appreciated by people who love true art.